Hi, well, I'm Kaz Parker, here for MMH Radio, of course, at Stonedead Festival, joined by Toby Jepson.
Hello.
From the awesome, fabulous Wayward Sons.
Oh, nice to be.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to be here. Yeah, nice to see you too. How are you?
Yeah,
All right?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good to be here. Good to be
Yeah.
playing again, after
Yeah.
all this time, Yeah.
I know, well, I saw you not long ago at another festival, so you're already out, which is great.
Oh, yes, we did a couple, and it's been kind of a real journey because we played Steelhouse, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it was, lots of problems because with Phil, our drummer, got pinged. He got on the track and trace thing and all that, so we had to sort of swap days. And then I did an impromptu acoustic thing, which I wasn't expecting to do.
Yeah, but it was also incredible.
Was it?
Yeah,
I forgot all the words.
All my favourite tracks, so I was singing. Well, I was singing away. I didn't notice.
It was such a shock though, because it kind of, they asked me to do it. I was like, okay, I'll do it. But because I've been performing down my phone through the lockdowns on Facebook. And I was just doing it. I got used to just doing it on my own in my kitchen. So I was like a rabbit in the headlights. I mean, I haven't actually been that nervous for a show probably ever in my entire life.
Right.
So I sort of stood up. I walked out on that stage after I think Chris Barris had just played this monumental, huge guitar sound, and I walked out there with my acoustic guitar and just started strumming, and it was quite a shock, I've got to say. But 2 or 3 tunes in, I was okay, but I did forget the words and the chords quite a bit, which was quite a surprise.
Honestly, well, as a punter and as a fan, I didn't notice.
Well,
so you got away with it.
Thank you for saying that.
And do you know what I was going to say to you actually? Does it feel weird performing again? Because you have done so much during lockdown. You've been all over social media doing live sessions, pre-recorded sessions, just so much stuff, keeping everybody up to date, loads of content.
Yeah.
Does it feel weird, or does it just feel like you're riding a bike and you're straight back?
No, it feels totally weird.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it does feel totally weird. Not so much now. I mean, like I say, certainly those first couple of shows back, it was quite just because I think there's a kind of weird thing, wasn't there, in the lockdowns, where I think we'd all just accepted the situation.
Yeah.
People weren't thinking, I've got to go to work, or this, I can't go to the cinema, I can't go out for something to eat, I'm not I can't hang out with my friends, whatever. So we'd all sort of, in typical human fashion, humankind sort of adapts quite well, don't we? We all went, okay, I'm going to stay in between these 4 walls and I'm just going to do my thing, So I kind of got used to doing that. I mean, actually playing on the lockdowns on social media took quite a lot of doing. It was the other way. It was like, there's no audience, no one's reacting. All I can see is thumbs up and hearts coming up on the tick. So what's that all about? But that took a little while to kind of come accustomed to. So going back the other way and stepping on the stage, like I say a minute ago, it was just absolutely. I didn't anticipate it either. I didn't expect it to feel weird, but it did. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But in a crazy way, because I did that acoustic show on my own, it broke the duck. And then so when we did the Wayward Sons show the next day, it only took a song or two to feel.
Yeah.
But I could feel that the audience were even feeling a little bit like, are we supposed to be here?
Yeah.
Is this are we back to this again? So it was kind of shared experience. And I think that's the great thing about live music is that that is that thing, isn't it? It is a shared experience. And maybe the experience has been slightly changed now. Hopefully not forever, but I think at the moment people are still quite a little bit nervous. They don't quite know what it's all gonna do for them. But I mean, you know what? We're here and we're doing it.
And actually, as a punter again, it's nice to be able to clap and show your appreciation.
Yeah.
If you're at home watching it on live screen, you're like,
oh,
okay, that'll do.
Open another can.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so with all of these things that you've done, is there anything that you're most proud of in the last 18 months?
Yeah, well, I was very. One of the things that's been really extraordinary for me was. Is the sort of the health and well-being issues of it all, really. I've got to be honest. Because, as a performer, as a musician, as a songwriter, your life's blood is creating music to then get a reaction from your audience.
Yeah.
That's a massive, huge part of it. And so when that was kind of curtailed and changed, I had to sort of take a long, hard look at myself and deal with all the demons of all those things, of having to deal with what we're going to do. And so it was an outlet to play those shows, and I think what it did for me was I was able to go back and re-listen to a lot of songs I hadn't listened to for a long time that I wrote, all the Little Angel stuff. A very cathartic experience, actually. So I transferred that because it was quite emotional for me, really. Because I was going back to the Don't Pray For Me record, and there was literally some of those songs on that record were never played live by the band, or I haven't listened to those songs for 25, 26 years or whatever, So it was kind of an odd, and I was putting myself back in the moment of when I wrote the songs or where we recorded them.
Yeah.
So
very different time.
Really different time. And so I think in a way, the thing I'm most proud about is that I was able to, I think sort of almost like, it's like self-medication. I sort of medicated myself with that. And I was able to then hopefully take that emotional response I was having from that music onto those Facebook performances and then get that response back. And it was an amazing sense of community. I mean, loads of messages, lots of really heartfelt things, lots of great memories from the past. And I think what it did for me and the audience was G everyone up and feel that, you know, there is some light at the end of the tunnel. You know, we can all share in this. You know, it doesn't have to. We're not alone. Because I got a lot of messages from people that were literally in their own flat, in somewhere in the country. They weren't going out. They maybe had health issues. Their only outlet was watching things like my show or someone else's show, and so that was incredibly important that they felt that and they got that.
Can you imagine trying to go through that without having social media?
Oh, no.
What would it have been like 30 years ago, or 20 years ago, or even, I don't know how we would have done it. Without the internet, without social media, it would have been a very lonely experience, but because we are so much more connected, aren't we? So, okay, so I know about things that are coming up. So the fourth single from the new album, Even at the Score, due for release on the 3rd of September.
Yes.
Bloody typical, of course, which is so very British, I have to say. Bloody typical. It's what we do, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So that's exciting. You've got a tour planned in November across the UK. I was going to say, is there anything else we can look forward to? Because we like secrets. I was wondering if there's anything you're keeping up your nickel egg, or if
well, we've got. I mean, you know, the gears of the music business are grinding very slowly at the moment. You know, I mean, make no bones about it. We're not in the same business we were before. It's changing, and you know, some of it's really difficult to take, but a lot of it's the green shoots are beginning to appear of new approaches. You know, so we're talking to our agents, our managers, you know, and everything that's to do with the mechanisms with how we go forward. That is changing on a daily basis, but what we are doing is planning the positivity of next year. Obviously, we've got the dates in November. We're hoping that, you know, I'm pretty certain now, it seems most likely it's all going to go ahead, you know. So that's great, but we are thankfully starting to look into 2022 now. So things have been planned for that. And that's been a real bonus, a real feeling of, you know, okay, maybe things really are going to be over. We can really kind of return to some sort of normality. So there's nothing I can kind of announce today, but lots of things happen.
All right, okay. Well, there's always lots of things happening with you guys, so I'm absolutely sure there'll be more and more announced. Lots of us to look forward to, which is marvellous.
Good stuff.
All right, so I normally ask a few random weird questions, as you know, and I'm trying to think, what have I not asked you before? So do you know what? Here's a good one, because this is... I'll usually ask people in the film, if you like, who would you want to play you? I might have asked you that before. So if I haven't, though, let me ask you that now.
Clint Eastwood.
What a great answer.
It is formative. Maybe not as a 91-year-old guy now. But so if it's a fantasy, who?
Yeah, it could be anyone you like. So yeah,
Clint
why not?
Eastwood, Dirty Harry period. Definitely. Yeah.
Although I think some of his movies are just incredible, like The Grant. You know,
Great movie.
Amazing. Always makes me cry. So yeah.
No,
good choice. Fair play. That's a really good choice. All right then. So who would you want to play the soundtrack? You can pick the Wayward Sons.
I don't know. I think if I was, that's a really good question. One of my favourite bands, you know, I think probably has to be a combination of Queen and David Bowie.
Again, amazing choices. Yeah. Perfect. That'll keep me entertained. Fabulous. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I won't ask you more weird random questions, but just to kind of finish off, you're really good at this sort of stuff. So what would be, if you had a piece of wisdom or advice to give listeners, viewers right now to help them stay happy and positive, what would that be?
Wow. Okay. Don't believe the hype, I think, is probably the, you know, and never more so than now. You know, I mean, I've written albums about this. Truth Ain't What It Used to Be, and this record is about this stuff. You know, I think really lean into your common sense. You know, I don't think there's enough common sense. I think we're all obsessed with the idea that things are happening when they aren't happening. You know, social media is to blame for this. You know, we were talking about how good it is, but actually it's got a lot of good, bad things we know. You know, I think it's that. You know, I'd like to see everyone take a little bit of breath and take a step back and not speak too soon. You know what I mean? And look after each other. You know, I mean, you know, the one thing I've learned through this whole period is there needs to be a greater sense of kindness and consideration for everybody. Because we've all been through a lot, and it's going to continue. It isn't just going to stop. You know, the aftermath of this is going to go on, I think. And one thing, a great thing about rock and roll music is it's a good salve, it's a good medicine for all difficulties, I think. So common sense, folks. Don't believe the hype.
Common
Look
sense,
at common
respect,
sense.
and kindness.
There you
I
go.
think we could sum that up like that.
Perfect.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So thank you. Thanks for catching up with me. I'm welcome to LMH, the Home of Rock Radio. It's really Jackson, Wayward Sons. And don't forget, people, go out and download this. We'll do it now. Well, do it in advance now. It's out on 5th September. So
Brilliant.
go,
Thanks a
follow
lot.
Little Plug. Thank you all.
Thank you.